the Seattle Sounders played the Columbus Crew to a 1-1 draw on Sunday Night Soccer yesterday at Lumen Field. Obviously, the match and the result overshadowed by what was a very scary situation with Sounders goalkeeper Stefan Frei coming off his line to try and claim a free kick into the box from Diego Rossi. Huge collision with the Columbus Crew player and was down on the field for several minutes and eventually had to be ambulanced off the field. So we're going to talk about the updates with Stefan Frei. We actually have some very positive updates.
It's good to talk about the positive updates on Stefan Frei, but it was a scary situation, man. It was a finale there for a good game that we were not expected, and he kind of damper a little bit of things because once you get in a situation like that where it's a player but it's a person's well-being kind of goes into risk, just everything goes out the door.
I think it was the scariest situation I've seen on a soccer field. I was at MLS Cup in 2022, LAFC Phil Union, when Maxime Crépeau had a compound fracture on that play at the end of that MLS Cup, which that was scary. But there's something different about a head injury where until you get the update, you just don't know what the outcome is going to be. So yeah, I mean, like you said, it really kind of put a damper on the whole occasion. But
yes, especially when it's so dramatic, right? I mean, it was that collision, and then it was the what they call it, fencing position, where he just kind of tenses up. I mean, that just, you could hear the entire stadium just
silent.
Gasp. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was something insane.
As quiet as I've ever heard Lumen Field. So let's we'll get to the situation with the referee trying to keep the game going. I gave my thoughts on that on the post game live last night. But let's get the positive update out there first and foremost. I'm going to share it on the screen right here, written up on MLSsoccer.com. Stefan Frei injury, Seattle Sounders goalkeeper back home resting. Seattle Sounders goalkeeper Stefan Frei back home resting after suffering a head and neck injury in second half stoppage time. And he has posted on both Blue Sky and Twitter. You can see his message right here. He says, still trying to figure out what happened at the end of the game with an emoji. So he's making jokes. That's a great sign. Love to see that. He says, I'm incredibly grateful to all the staff that looked after me and happy to be back home resting now. What resonates is all the messages, calls, and love I've received from so many of you. Thank you, truly. It means more than I can put into words. I feel the support, and I'm thankful for every single one of you. So just, I mean, great to see that. What a relief. There was so much uncertainty kind of coming off the game in the immediate aftermath. So just to know that he's back home, he's gotten his treatment, and that he's posted on Blue Sky, he's making jokes. Great to see all of that.
Especially because, I mean, like you said, you were being assessed for a head and neck injury. It looked like as he was being carted into the ambulance, he was moving, and that was a positive, and he seemed to be conscious, which obviously is something that's good. But you never know, until now, and still, I wonder what the process to full recovery is going to be for Stefan Frei. I'm sure, taking a game off, if not two, but, it's good to see that at least, his home, everything's okay. But I wonder, what's the process? What's the protocol moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Brian Schmetzer, after the game, he praised Columbus head coach Wilfred Nancy for encouraging the referee Izmir Pekmik to end the match. With only seconds remaining, both clubs agreed a final push for all 3 points wasn't worth it, it says here. And then you have Schmetzer's quote. Schmetz was visibly emotional in the post-game presser. He said, Wilfred, I appreciate what he did because the ref wasn't going to stop the game. Everyone knew that the game should have been stopped. Good on him. So thank you, Wilfred. And then for Nancy's part, he says, I hope that everything's going to be okay with Frei. Our job is not easy. When you see a situation like that, again, football is not the most important. We stay positive, and hopefully everything's going to be good for him. So let's talk about that aspect of it, Nico, because I thought that was the craziest part of the whole situation. Evidently, what happened is the referee came over and was like, "All right, we're running the corner kick. Let's do this." And Schmetz was like, "I don't think that we should do that." And then Wilfred Nancy, you could actually see on the broadcast footage, he was also like, "We're not doing that. This is over." So I said it last night on the post game live, but credit to Wilfred Nancy. I already had a lot of respect for him as a coach and what the type of soccer he's able to get his teams to play and all that. But I think that just shows that he's a class act, and it shows the type of person he is. And I'm glad that common sense prevailed in this situation. There's absolutely no way that corner kick can be taken. If it did get taken, I guarantee you Diego Rossi or whoever took it from the crew would have just bopped it to the other side of the field and called it there. But still, it's the principle of it that bothered me. Like, I don't know what we're doing, like keeping the game going even for one corner kick in that situation. Like, imagine if like Columbus had scored off that. Like, I don't, it just feels like a situation where you got to like use your common sense, use your discretion. And the ref, I mean, he called an okay game, but just way off with that. Nico, what do you like? What did you make of that? What was going through his head to even be considering that? I can't figure it out.
Man, I think that, common sense at times varies, unfortunately, for, different people, and not just the referee, but, there were some, I don't even know what to call it, just inhumane comments, that were made to me in my social media, after praising Wilfred for, just he heard what was going on with Brian Spencer. It's not like the referee approached him. He heard what Brian was pleading with the referee, and he makes the move. He's the one that initiates the, hey, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play. And in terms of what the referee's thinking, my guess is he went by the book, and sometimes you just got to grab the book and throw it out. And that's what he was doing, right? He's thinking, we're already in overtime, but there was time missing, so I got to add 3 or 4 minutes, and I got to resume play in the corner kick and give Columbus a chance to, put the ball into play and decide to do whatever it is that they want to do. So to that point, I'm like, okay, if you have not even common sense, it's just a general sense of empathy towards not just Stefan Frei, who was unconscious, that just got ambulanced out, but for everybody else that's part of that team. Do you think that Christian Roldan's going to be able to defend a corner after his brother? Right? I mean, this is a family. This is a group that, Stefan Frei, and I said this yesterday, when I was asked about it, Stefan Frei is more than a goalkeeper. He's a role model. He is a captain. He's a leader, and he's a brother to a lot of these people. So the players were gonna. I can't even fathom, having to think about marking Rossi or anybody that's going to be coming in for a strike, and you're thinking about what just happened to Stefan Frei. I mean, there were tears in Jordan and Alex and all of these players. So when you don't have sort of empathy, I think that's when you don't see clearly. So I'm hoping that this sort of situation does get clarified. But a lot of people really thought that the game should have kept going, and I can't really grasp that sort of mentality. But I think that the referee wanted to go by the book. I think that there are fans that are inhumane, and they're just thinking, hey, we could steal a point in Seattle. We need it, and it's just sad. It's literally sad that there's a sort of mentality. And look, I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm better than people or all these things. It's just competition is one thing, but whenever you have someone's livelihood at stake, I mean, that should take over everything. And whether that makes somebody better or not, I mean, that's just for people to just realize. If you think that MLS is soft or I'm soft for having this sort of take on it, then whatever. But I would hope that a lot of people make that choice. And you saw how emotional Brian Spencer was. I mean, he was in tears. He was holding back. I mean, his voice was cracking as he thanked Wilfred Nancy, because it could have been something else. It could have been another coach that didn't see it that way and wanted that corner to be taken. And it was an emotional wreck from the coaching staff all the way to the players. So it's just a situation that makes us realize that there are good in people, and if we are better than just the game and the competition, then we should strive for that. We should strive for that sort of mentality.
Yeah, I just can't relate to thinking about the game in a situation like that, thinking about a corner kick. I was sitting there like thinking about people in my life that I'd wronged so I could like make amends. Like that's where my head was at. So I don't know. It was just like it was a ridiculous situation, I think, for the referee to just not use his discretion and end it off rip. But I'm glad that it like I said, common sense prevailed, and I think the correct outcome took place. And again, I credit Wilfred Nancy a heck of a lot for that. We all know that he has established a well-earned reputation as like the best tactician, best coach in the league in that way, in terms of X's and O's and his system and on the field and all that. But we talk a lot about, the man managing and the human aspect of coaching as well, and how important that is. And you can see from how he handled a situation like that he is an expert in that regard as well. So I think I said it last night as well, but I want to reiterate: respect to Wilfred Nancy and respect to the Columbus Crew. I think it's an example of them being a well-run, classy organization as well. And happy to share this positive update as well this morning. It seems like Stefan Frei is in good spirits. He made a joke on his Twitter and Blue Sky at home resting. So what was a very, very scary situation in the moment seems to be on a positive trajectory. So
yeah, and one more thing, Ari, I did hear from quite a few former Sounders, including Nicolas Tadero. He was very concerned. He said, please send everyone my best wishes, including Stefan Frei. So I'll bring that up because Victor Rodriguez, all these guys that have shared the field with Stefan Frei, but more than that is their lives, right? This is a friend, and this is somebody that they know, and the fact that so many people were concerned and send their love, whether it was through social media, like Herculez Gomez and all of these people, but also, like I said, independently, there was a lot of concern. Nicolas Tadero is now in Uruguay. He's completely out of MLS, but the fact that he has that in the back of his mind, and that he heard about what happened, he saw what happened, and he wanted to reach out. I think that that says a lot for Nico and Stefan Frei. That as I mentioned, he's such a big part of this community. Sounders wise, I mean, beyond the trophies and the saves and everything, I think that he's really become an icon in the community, in Seattle in general, in MLS, and that many people that want to wish you your best. I mean, I think that just says a lot about Stefan Frei.